Blessings, everyone. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not going to be using the name Yahweh anymore in the beginning of my videos, and it's not because of this gentleman that came at me indirectly, but this is all about the New Age. New Age seems to be using the name Yahweh quite a bit, and I've understood that so does Jonathan Kleck. So I don't want to be associated to any of that at all whatsoever. I'm truly far away from that. I've walked in that New Age. I know all about it, and I know the differences, and I want no part of that. So here I am going to, it might be a little lengthy, but if you have patience and endurance, then it's going to be needed here. I don't come across as being with no excitement. I mean, even in my voice, I've been told I'm drowning, droning, whatever, and I can't do anything about that, and I'm not going to apologize. I'm not flashy when it comes to the screen and showing you this and showing you that. I don't do that either. I'll try to get better at that as I go along, but right now I can't do it. There's just, I have nobody helping me out getting all of that organized, so I can't do anything about it. I don't know what to do about it, so you would just have to bear with me and just, listen maybe to what I have to say. I'm working on a mic for Christmas, if that helps with the voice, if that helps with hearing me. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be bringing the visions, true visions, to the table. I'm not just going to be, talking about my own. I'm going to be bringing up a vision from a Dr. Hross Sean, who has 3 channels out, and they're fully loaded of knowledge and understanding in the simplicity of a 2-year-old. Okay, I mean, this is just, water. It's food at his table. It's knowledge that we need to be a little stronger every day in our walk, knowing what's in front of us and who's in front of us and what they are doing and their full purpose. Even though we understand it, yes, but we still need to hear it. We need to hear this truth. I was very surprised that I needed to hear this truth to go forward, because I felt that I was walking in spirit myself. But I am walking in spirit by listening to what and hearing what he has to say when it comes to the truth, and bringing this truth to you in the suffering, in his persecution right now, what he is under and what he is walking. We need to, at one point, go beyond the knowledge and see past that. Okay? So I'm going to be speaking of this a little bit here because it has a lot to do with us. Okay? And I'm hoping that we can bring to the table discernment so that you be able to discern and have something to come up side by side with when it comes to spirit, in the spirit of truth, and how we receive in the spirit, being given in spirit, and the truth follows. So I'm just going to start off with that. This all started with when Iris took a terrible blow to the body, and she had the E. coli bug, which poisoned her bloodstream, with her kidney working at 25%. At that time, I knew something was really wrong when I had not heard from her. So I started to look, and I went to her Facebook, and I found her sister, who explained a little bit. And then following immediately after that, Iris got a hold of me and told me a little bit of what she knew at the time. So I started right away into prayer and meditation and in deep thought, in supplication. I was just wrapping myself around Iris in prayer, asking what it was that I needed to pray for. So it was during this time I had dropped my son off at work, and I was coming home and I started to pray. Now, I pray all the time. It's spontaneous. It doesn't matter where I am and what it is. It could be the smallest little thing, but this is what happens. So this was no different, no different of where I pray. So I'm asking for courage and strength. I'm asking the courage to see things through so that I don't cower in the hour that I'm called. And I ask for strength to stand in the face of evil, that I don't buckle and that I don't faint. Well, it was this day that I said Pharaoh instead of evil. And it was just the flow that came from me. It was just that flow. It was the Holy Spirit. And I knew right away that this was a key. This was something that I needed to look out for. So now I know what to do immediately. I had this relationship with the Holy Spirit for as long as I can remember. I believe in who taught me, and in who taught me was the Holy Spirit in truth, in faith. Okay, I believe in who taught me. So now I know that Spirit's leading me to the Pharaohs. I had no idea, or I didn't have anything of a suggestion when it came to the Pharaohs at this point at all. So the Pharaoh, I'm thinking Ramsey, I'm thinking, okay, Hollywood, right? Because again, I didn't have the scriptures as I had today, so I was the first thing that I think of when you say Pharaoh, I think of Ramsey. So I put it, on the shelf. I don't dwell. I don't bring the flesh into it. I know that I have to be vigilant. I have to be quiet and still in order for me to receive. So it was about maybe 3 or 4 days later, I was in my room and I'm going through the YouTube, and what do I see? I see a channel and it says Pharaoh's Show, or the Pharaohs of Today. Well, that I have to open up that door. I'm not going to just walk, no. So I open up the door, and what do I receive but nothing but knowledge and understanding, the understanding of a 2-year-old. And I was very surprised and taken by the knowledge that I needed to move forward. So this was very important to me when he was bringing up the Pharaohs of today, the Knight Templars. And he was, just peeling back those lies, and he was exposing, and he was breaking down Hollywood's altars and their idols, because I honestly believed at the time that these Knight Templars were holy, and that the cross that they were wearing was of Jesus, of being holy. And it was quite the opposite. So this is where he was smashing Hollywood. He was smashing the idols. I didn't see them. I saw them now as the enemy, as, and this is because of this knowledge that he was bringing forward. Okay, so once I was receiving this knowledge and I started to see him, and what I was seeing was a man who was just walking. This is when I first saw him, and he's just walking and he's going from castle to castle. Like I say, this was all Hollywood for me. And then he would say who was living there, why they, and what they did, and that castle became nothing but blood to me. That was evil. It was the root of evil that was, being born in within this castle. So, it was shocked. It was surprising to me. Okay, I mean, so he's doing this and he's breaking everything down. So once I started to get past the fact that this was the knowledge that I was receiving, and I was receiving it with ease and simplicity, I started to look at who he was, and what I started to hear from him was that, he was arrested and tortured for 3 months. I believe it was 3 months. He was beaten in front of his children by a police officer, which I believe there's something very wrong with that. This police officer ended up being killed by a civilian. I believe it was a few months later, which they were trying to blame Dr. Hross for, or get him entangled in that killing of that officer. That was all news. It was headline news. It's there for you to see if you are interested in finding out more about him. Right now, he's being persecuted. He's going from city to city. He's going from country to country. He sleeps in a tent yearly in the winter. He, has rocks for pillows. He counts on the kindness, of others every day. And at the same time, in his persecution and in his suffering, he's still pounding out that truth. He's pounding out that truth. The reason why all of these things are taking place is because he was exposing this truth that nobody else wanted out. And they did their best and are doing their best by holding his family hostage as we speak. So it's very interesting to get to know this man. So I was really taken by this, and I brought it to a friend of mine, and I say this with love, I really do. And this person believed that there was no holiness in him, and that this was all physical suffering, and it wasn't in the spirit. And I absolutely agree with your findings on that, but at the same time, when you brought up Paul, you see, I saw Paul also, but I saw it in the light where Paul was walking on his way to Damascus, and what he was thinking and what he was going to do as he was walking to his destination. And then he was stopped by Jesus in mid-step and was told to go to the city for instruction. Now, here, what is the difference with Dr. Hross and Paul? I just started to see a true warrior in Dr. Hross. He to me, is a warrior.